Hey, what is up guys? MixelPlx here. In today's video, we're going to be watching the 2024 preview event. We're going to be doing a live reaction into talking about everything that we've seen, kind of breaking it down. And yeah, see you guys when it goes live.
Welcome to the Sea of Thieves 2024 preview event, where we're going to give you your first look at some of the exciting features coming to Sea of Thieves this year.
What? New Cursed Cannonball?
We are going to share information around what's coming in Seasons 12 and 13, as well as even further into the future.
Whoa, what
with a
is
sneak peek
that?
behind the curtain on Season 14.
I'll warm this up to 1080.
So grab a grog
Wait,
and get
what?
ready for
Was that a
adventure
grappling
as
hook?
we reveal some of the incredible bounty of features headed to Sea of Thieves in 2024.
Sea of Thieves is a pirate sandbox adventure game where players create those stories together. And in the world of Sea of Thieves, there are tools and items that may seem simple on the surface, but when they're in the hands of real players who are playing in their own way and bringing their creativity, it really showcases that the sandbox is more than the sum of its parts as it creates these memorable stories.
This year, in 2024, our focus is on giving you more tools, more possibilities, and with that freedom out on the waves, give you the possibilities to have these amazing moments and really changing up the core moment-to-moment gameplay of the sandbox.
All right, here we go. Season 12.
The kind of main aims for Season 12 are about mixing up the meta and how players enjoy all of the different aspects of Sea of Thieves. So as part of Season 12, we're going to be adding 2 new weapons and 3 new tools for players to use.
An area we haven't really delved into since launch is adding new weapons to the game. New weapons that give you new tactical choices and strategies out there on your adventures. So in Season 12, we're going to be adding the double-barrel pistol and throwing knives.
The double-barrel flintlock is a new
Interesting.
type of pistol weapon where you can fire 2 shots individually before you need to reload, or you can charge them together and release them at once for a more powerful shot.
We wanted to kind of create this new weapon archetype that's a bit shorter range, but a faster fire rate, but perhaps not as powerful or damaging as the flintlock pistol. But then it has those kind of blunderbuss-like qualities as well, where you can do the charge shot to release 2 pellets at the same time.
Accompanying that double barrel
Interesting.
with another weapon like the cutlass, for example.
It looks kind of weird, but
a fast time to kill for a player to be able to quickly take down a target.
oh boy, that TTK is gonna be weird.
Season 12 also brings in the throwing knives as a weapon.
This sounds
these
cool.
Can be used as a melee item. They have a light and a heavy melee action, but they can also be thrown and used at range as well.
You can use it to kind of like stab players with like a quick attack, but that doesn't do much damage. Or you can charge it to like pull it into this kind of more dangerous stabbing motion. That'll slow the player's movement down and give this like really high damage attack for if you like sneak up behind players. And then finally, it has the ability to kind of flip the knife over, catch it, and then throw it at distance against players, which again kind of feels like a trick shot, and it'll do a lot of damage as well.
When you throw a
that's
throwing
gonna be
knife, and if you
fun.
miss, you can actually go in the world and it'll stick into any of the geometry, and you can just pull it out, and then it'll replenish your ammo. So I think
Oh, so you can
personally,
just
for
pick it
me,
back
this is
up.
really good because sometimes I miss, as I'm sure some of us do. So you can then just go ahead and pick it up again.
So you get these wonderful moments where a pirate might throw a knife at you, but then you can retrieve that knife and throw it back to them. So it'll
That's
really
cool.
mix up the kind of combat scenarios you can expect out in the world and when boarding other ships.
There are 3 new tools in Season 12, the Wind Caller, the Scatter Shot, and the Bone Caller.
With the scatter shot, the way that it's different to a standard cannonball is it's a collection of 4 cannonballs, but they're much smaller. They have a much shorter fall off and range, and a really wide spread, allowing you to hit a target with multiple projectiles
Wow,
at the same
that's
time.
interesting.
Really
Holy.
small amounts of damage to the ship, just like a level 1 size hole. So
Yeah,
like,
but you do enough
really
of those,
quick
that's
for players to
huge.
repair, but it can kind of overwhelm a crew quite quickly.
Basically, if you get up close with the scatter shot and you
Whoa,
can get a few onto your
that's
enemy, they're going to have a lot of
nuts.
holes, and they're going to have a pretty bad time.
What it will do is really eat up an opponent's resources. They'd need to use more wood to repair the many holes that the scatter shot puts into the hull.
So the Bone Caller is an awesome new throwable that players can wield, and they can throw that on the floor, and when it smashes, all these kind of bones come out, and then skeletons spawn around the player in allegiance to them, and they'll actually fight beside the player against enemy
We're
players
necromancers
and
now?
enemy
That's sick.
AI.
Now you might not be going straight for just a normal cannonball or a chain shot. You might in fact go straight for the Bone Caller, so you can
Use fire to fight fire. So if somebody shoots a Bone Caller across the sea at your ship and they spawn in, if you have your own Bone Caller, you could throw that down on the deck.
mostly play solo, and to be able
just
to
cutting
spawn
weird?
literally anything that is friendly to my cause while I'm playing is a massive positive. So I'm kind of looking forward to that.
That's
and
interesting.
I'm sure that other players
I like
will
that.
find ways to make use of it as well.
The Wind Caller is a new horn-shaped shell that players can blow into to summon the power of the wind. So imagine the scenario that you're heading fully into the wind and you're either chasing someone or you're trying to get away from someone. Now you can use this tool to blow wind into your sails.
Wow,
and go
that is
beyond
really
full billow
cool. I've been
in
wanting
speed.
something like that
Players can also use
forever.
it to kind of knock players back off their ship or on land, so they can kind of target a player, blow into the Wind Caller, and it will throw them back into the air.
You can use it as a means of propulsion for yourself in the water, but also for rowing boats. So you can either use it while you're in the water swimming and you'll blast along like a really fast water boatman, or you can stand on a rowing boat and blast it out the back like a speedboat.
That is
basically.
You can put out fires
crazy.
and you can do it quickly.
Speedboat, basically.
You can put out fires and you can do it quickly. So you can just essentially walk around, your entire ship is caught on fire, and just put out all the fires as you walk around.
And they can even use it to like stop their fall damage. Like say you're falling a great distance and you use the Wind Caller below you, like cushion your fall so you like land safely as well. There is like a finite charge for how long the Wind Caller can last for, so you have to use it wisely.
Debuted in the Monkey Island Tall Tales, and they're a really fun and exhilarating
Interesting.
way to traverse. So it's really cool to be able to bring those to the wider Sea of Thieves
Oh,
world.
so zip lines are
So we've been
everywhere
looking
now.
across
That's
all
cool.
the islands of the Sea of Thieves and looking at the most ideal places to kind of mix up the traversal opportunities within all of the islands to add these zip lines across them. So we've added zip lines to like the outpost to get down to your ship quickly. We've added them to the skeleton forts that allow you to kind of zip line between
that's
two positions
cool.
to kind of escape the skeletons or get close to them when they first spawn.
Oh, man,
or just general kind of zip
wait, you
lines
can
across
carry
islands,
loot?
like fast traversal and moving chests
Oh,
around
dude,
the
that's gonna be
islands quickly.
big for
example,
plunder.
on
Holy
Ancient Spy
crap.
Outpost,
Huge
now
quality of
you've
life.
got to clunk down some cliffs in order to get to your ship. Now you'll be able to just go and get on the zip
Alongside adding completely
this is-
brand
it
new
keeps
tools
cutting
to the
constantly.
Sea of
line and go flying
There we
all
go.
the way down to the jetty next to your ship.
That's so cool.
Alongside adding completely brand new tools to the Sea of Thieves sandbox, there's also the opportunity for us to go back and add completely brand new functionality to existing tools.
So another cool new feature that we're adding for Season 12 is the ability to balance on harpoon lines. So you can shoot that harpoon line at another ship or
Wait,
another island
what?
and then jump onto it and then
Wow.
like balance across. Depending on
What?
the angle in which
That's
you fire
nuts.
the harpoon, it'll either be like too steep to climb up it, but if you're on the other end, you can actually jump on the harpoon
What
line and
the?
like slide down it really quickly back to your ship.
We're really confident this will lead to some really inventive player boarding tactics out there in the sandbox.
Dude,
as well as
that's
giving you
great.
new ways to traverse
You can
the
carry
islands.
loot?
With all this that we're adding in Season 12, it gives players
Wow.
more opportunities to create those stories
That's
as
really
we're really
cool.
enriching the sandbox of every session.
So we're always really excited to add new tools and mechanics to Sea of Thieves, but we're always mindful that we want to make sure that the game's health is in a really good position as well, that the integrity of Sea of Thieves is there for our players. And since we're adding new weapons into Sea of Thieves, we're very mindful that we want to ensure that the hit registration in our game is as rock solid as it can be. And this is an ongoing thing for us as a development team. We're constantly putting time and effort into this area to try and make it as robust as possible.
In the past, we've borrowed time from feature teams to address issues in the core experience, but it's always taken a back seat to the features that those teams are working on. In 2024, this is changing. We're securing a dedicated team to focus on the health of the game, bringing fixes and improvements to the things that matter most to our players as soon as they're ready as part of our regular monthly updates. This is going to be a key focus for the team this year. We want your Sea of Thieves experience to be the best that it can be. Adding new loadout choices as part of upcoming seasons shows our commitment to making encounters between players a more dynamic and fun experience. But crucially, this all has to operate on a stable combat system. We know that there's still plenty of work to do here, but this remains a top priority for our team. March's update delivered Easy Anti-Cheat, an industry-leading anti-cheat solution designed by Epic. This solution evolves over time, keeping up with cheat developers, blocking them at every turn. This is really, though, just the first step at improving the player experience here in Sea of Thieves.
Not sure about that,
We
but
want to focus this year on making Sea of Thieves play better than ever before, whether that be improving the performance of the game across the variety of hardware it runs on, ensuring that it's a safe place to play with a focus on cheating, but also ensuring that our hit registration is as reliable as possible in all of your adventures out there in the sandbox.
Season 13, what? Here we go.
So Captain Flameheart has been a staple and important character of Sea of Thieves for many years, appearing in our novels and appearing in our many tall tales and expanded fiction. With Season 13, this brings the return of Captain Flameheart to the Sea of Thieves.
Flameheart is finally in?
Flameheart has been resurrected, so has his Burning Blade ship, and it's back in more monstrous and terrifying form than ever before. So we've reimagined it for Season 13, and it looks incredible. It almost looks like a living entity itself.
So traditionally, world events have been at set locations throughout the world. The Burning Blade
Are they doing
is
it?
different. The Burning Blade is a ship, and therefore moves around the world.
But the twist is, when you've defeated the ship, you have the option to board it and pledge yourself and your crew to Flameheart, enter into his service, and become the crew of the Burning Blade.
What?
Essentially
What
becoming
the?
a player-created world event yourselves.
No way.
So
that is
obviously
sick.
we have to go in big with this one. At a base, it is larger and more formidable than any ship we've seen on the waves.
This ship has 10 cannons. It has a statue room dedicated to Flameheart at the back. It has a balcony where Flameheart likes to take in the view every morning with his coffee. And most importantly, it's got a massive flamethrower at the front.
Players will be able to pull a lever on their ship and fire 2 massive balls of fire out the front of their ship, which is really interesting because we've never actually had an offensive weapon that's frontal facing before. So I think this is going to create some really interesting
That's
dynamic
gonna be
naval
cool,
combat
dude.
situations.
Wow.
So once you take over the Burning Blade, you are on this really powerful warship, and you have a skeleton crew helping you as well. So even smaller crews have every chance of crewing the Burning Blade.
This is
because
really
the
cool,
skeletons
dude.
will come to your aid.
So you could have skeletons repairing while you're on the cannons firing at enemies, which is excellent.
But it's not just about sailing around the world, which of course you can do. It's about completing orders in service of Captain Flameheart. So around the world, there'll be numerous skeleton camps.
You'll notice the Reapers have been conducting excavations on the surface, and they've been dragging up all sorts of ancient artifacts and ancient secrets from below the surface.
Underground, there's basically a chamber with a prism that the players can control to draw out constellations on the ceiling in order to help the ritual come to completion and get that knowledge of the ancients.
Each of these temples contains the secrets of the ancients, secrets that Flameheart wants above anything else. And as part of taking control of the ship, you'll be able to sail around the world, visit these ancient temples deep below these skeleton camps, engaging new puzzle gameplay, discover treasures, but what you're really after is the Orb of Secrets,
Ooh.
a new treasure artifact that Flameheart wants. Collecting these secrets will add tribute to the Burning Blade ship.
The more tribute that you collect, the more value will be aboard the Burning Blade. But you will lose the Burning Blade if it sinks or when you choose to go and cash that tribute into Flameheart. So it's really up to you how long you think you can hold on to it with that risk reward, because everybody in the world is going to be coming for you. They're going to know you're in there and know you've got high value. So it really becomes this dynamic player-created world event with players versus players in the sandbox.
So even though you can visit these skeleton camps while in control of the Burning Blade, it's not only tightly wedded to that new gameplay, players can also visit them anytime in their adventures. So should players visit these skeleton camps when they're not the crew of the Burning Blade, the skeletons won't be too happy that you've found a way inside these camps, and you'll be engaging in a combat-focused encounter to discover its secrets.
What's really exciting about Season 13 is the interplay of the features and the way that they'll bring players together and combine to create new stories. And whether you're the crew of the Burning Blade who wants to protect it, or everyone else who wants to take it down and steal that value, everything in Season 13 will bring you together.
Hopefully this won't have issues anymore, but I want to say that there's a couple of the things I really like with this is the fact that the throwing knife, you can actually pick up this. I'm hoping that's not interactable. I hope you can just go near it and it automatically goes into your inventory, but knowing rare, it's probably going to be like an ammo bag in terms of interacting with it. What else? There's a few things I wanted to look at here. This pistol, I'm gonna be honest, it looks interesting. It looks interesting because if you look at his HP, if they're both shooting it, he took, I think, half HP. So if it does 50 per shot, that's gonna be kind of nuts. Or I'm wondering if it'll be like 30-30. That way it kind of forces people to eat. This is an interesting little thing though, and the fact that you can charge it up as well is kind of cool. The model's a little funky, but I'm not sure if you have to aim through the barrels or if you use the sight in the center as your reference point, so that'll be interesting. The throwing knives I thought were really cool. Let's kind of go through here. We're gonna scan through this as quick as possible, but this I thought was really neat. So this is gonna be a throwable cursed cannonball that you can use, just like a blender bomb that will summon skeletons to fight with you, which can also be shot out of a boat as well, which I'm wondering if the number of skeletons are going to be increased if they're shot through a cannon. So that'll be interesting. Yeah, as you see here, kind of a cool little feature. This is where the video started to kind of bug out a little bit. This right here, I think is one. It seemed pretty underwhelming, I think, for a lot of people, but this right here is huge because if you play on the sloop like I do, catching brigs is pretty much a task that you can't really do. So if I have this and a brig decides to run or reset, and I want to create that gap between us, or bridge the gap between us, I guess this is going to be huge. I wonder how much use it has though. Because if you can only use it for 10 to 15 seconds, that's not going to be enough. So we'll have to see how common these are going to be in the world, and also just how fast you go, I guess. And it's cool that you can use this for rowboats, so that's interesting. Other feature here I would say is the zip lines added to like every location in the game. That's I would say medium to like a high tier. I mean, that's huge. I mean, just look at that. Like, this is going to be so big because you can carry loot as well, which is nice. And the fact that they've also put these on every large island, it looks like, medium islands, outposts. That alone, the fact that I can take a zip line from the outpost straight to the boat is huge. Like, no longer do I have to jump down or lunge down. Like, I mean, it's still, pretty quick, but that'll be seamless for sure. I think this is the one thing they did show I thought was really cool here, is the fact that you can walk over harpoon lines. Now I wonder how that's gonna work. That's gonna be interesting. So if you're chasing somebody and you harpoon the back of their boat, you're basically, I'm wondering if it's locks you into walking, or if I can do my own actions over it. That's gonna be cool. That's gonna be very interesting. That'll also make giving loot to new players or other players probably a little bit easier as well. So I will say for Season 13, this was actually very unexpected. Just because, like, this is something I want to say I've been talking about. This concept is something I've been talking about literally for 4 years. Was the idea of a world event that was a moving event, that was a ship event, that was just like a singular hard boss that the whole server has to come together to kind of fight. And judging by this, it looks like that's going to be a thing, so which is going to be kind of nuts. I'm curious to see how this works. So if you don't know how it works, or if you weren't listening to the first half of the video, basically what you can do is you can board this ship and basically pledge yourself to the boat. So even if you're a sloop, a brig crew, a solo, I'm hoping a solo can use this. If not, that'd be a little, regardless, it'll be interesting. Or a galleon crew, you get a skeleton crew to help you repair, bucket, help shoot, which is really cool. I'm not sure how it's going to work. They're probably going to have to force you to steer or to use the helm, so that'll be interesting. But basically, you get 10 cannons, and there's a lever to shoot the forward-facing cannons, which are 2 giant fire bombs, basically, which is kind of cool. But as you see here, this is basically what it is. You got ammo box on the front here. You have a couple harpoons. Now, I'm curious, if you pledge yourself to this boat, does this become your respawn too? 1, 2, man, I'll be honest, this looks insane from a gameplay standpoint because, again, world events are huge, and some of the best world events, i.e. Forward to the Dam, is a player created event. You know, for the most part, you know, someone took the time to do the skull, you know, to get a ritual skull or a skull of destiny, or regardless, you know, whatever, they've invested time to make that world event possible. And I think what's so cool about this is the fact that if I see this, not only is this going to be worth doing probably, but man, this is going to be a fun world event to just take part in or just take down. I mean, I'm curious to see how tanky this is going to be. Because it definitely doesn't have a standard galleon layout, which is going to be cool. But this is, I guarantee you, if this is up, a lot of the sweatier crews, or the crazier crews, I guess, will 100% be using this. But look at this, as you can see on the layout. You got 4 cannons right here. You have a ladder in between the cannons, so that'll be interesting. And it looks like the helm has a cannon as well on both sides, which is cool. So that means the helm or the helmsman can actually take part in shooting as well, which I wonder if that's going to be like a scatter shot, or is that going to be a standard cannon? Because it's really honestly hard to tell, but it's obviously not a full-size cannon. Now, as you see here, you can shoot 2 giant fire bombs. Now, I'm curious to see if those will do impact damage as well, or if it's just going to be... man, that's going to be interesting. I wonder if those are going to be... I'm wondering if these are going to be like 2 kegs shooting out. Because that could be... If it's just fire bombs, it's not going to be really impactful, because most fire doesn't really impact a lot of boats for a while. Whereas kegs honestly do make sense, because 1, this is going to be 1, a skill shot, 2, it's going to take a long time. Like as you see here, let me bring it back a little bit here. We'll shoot. It's pretty slow, so it kind of makes sense that this is kegs versus just fire bombs. Because if it's just fire bombs, this isn't really going to do that much, unfortunately. Like you're almost better off just shooting with cannons. Now, I'll be honest, they kind of lost me at these different things. So these seem to be new locations. Now, from what I can tell, these are brand new locations. These aren't... I'm curious if this is going to be a couple of things. I'm wondering if skeleton forts are going to be turning into these, or if these are new islands or new areas, because I'm noticing, at least right now, there's no other islands. There's no rocks. There's nothing in the backdrop here. So I can't really tell if this seems like it's off the map, which is going to be a little weird. So they either are putting these on the edges of the map, which is going to be a little weird, or this is just for showing it off. 3, this could be, I could see forts turning into these, which again, they don't really talk about, but that would be an interesting graduation of skeleton forts, because right now forts are not really used that much. Whereas this would be a nice upgrade, a nice like a retouch up basically of like old assets, which should be kind of interesting actually. Would make them interesting and more engaging, I guess. And that's mostly it. Now 14, I'll be honest, I'd have to shade. They didn't have any concepts or anything else relating to it, but honestly, 12 and 13 look amazing. I think 12 looks pretty cool with all the features they're adding between the new weapons, all the different things they've been showing. But I think the biggest thing for me personally is going to be, I would say the scatter shot. I did miss that earlier, right? Yeah, right here. That's going to be great for a sloop, just because when you're fighting like a brig or any bigger boat, pressure is such a hard thing to apply when you're only doing one cannon shot per. But if you are within a certain range or radius and you can do that skill shot, that's gonna be interesting, because that means if you can pop tier 1s everywhere, man, that's gonna be huge. That'll be very huge to see how much pressure that takes. Like if you can aim with that and hit nothing but lowers on a galleon, holy crap, dude, that'll be insane. So there you guys have it. That is my live reaction, my thoughts. Season 12 looks pretty cool with the new Cursed Cannonballs, or Cursed Cannonball, the new scatter shot. I don't know if the harpoon or the grappling hook is coming into this season or 13, but regardless, 12 and 13 are looking really good, and 13 looks phenomenal. Again, to kind of go back to it, the whole world event thing is something that I've been wanting personally for a while. And that's kind of the concept around stacking, was built around the idea of being like a world boss. So I'll be curious to see how tanky that ship actually is, because I almost guarantee you, if it's stronger than your average boat, 100% people are going to want that and they're going to fight for it, which is good, because, you know, but that also could be kind of a catch-22. Like if you end up wanting to fight a boat constantly that's using that, if it's powerful enough, it could be kind of OP in a sense. But yeah. Well, if you guys enjoyed the video, let me know down in the comment section below which feature are you guys most excited for. Again, I will say, I think 13, the new Flameheart ship thing looks really cool. I want to say all these little tools they're adding to the sandbox are all pretty good. Again, I'm not sure if the grappling hook is in 12, but that sounds cool. That and the harpoon change-ups are going to be phenomenal for boarding people and just kind of goofing off with. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.